This is Plant-Based Briefing, Making Meat Look Weird. Veganuary's new campaign challenges food norms by Charlotte Pointing at vegnews.com. And I'm Marian Erickson. This is the curated content plant-based podcast where I narrate a variety of articles on plant-based and vegan living with permission in about 10 minutes or less every weekday. So now let's get to today's Plant-Based Briefing. Making Meat Look Weird. Veganuary's new campaign challenges food norms by Charlotte Pointing at vegnews.com. Veganuary is preparing for the new year with a new campaign based entirely around one word: weird. Veganuary, an organization that encourages and supports people to remove animal products from their plates for the month of January, has been growing steadily for the last several years. In 2024, more than a decade after it was founded, the initiative announced its biggest year yet, with 1.8 million signups worldwide. In 2025, it is set to grow again by expanding to new countries like Peru, Malaysia, and Canada. And with the help of its new Weird campaign linked here, the organization is hoping to inspire more signups than ever. Veganuary's new campaign is unique. It doesn't just focus predominantly on the health and environmental benefits of following a plant-based diet. Instead, it is focused on highlighting the weirdness of eating animal products in the first place. Most of us see the food we grew up with as normal, but when we stop to ponder the practices behind many familiar foods, they start to look a little bit weird, says Tony Vernelli, Veganuary's International Head of Policy and Communications. Veganuary's new Weird campaign. The new campaign from Veganuary is already in full swing, with ads running across social media platforms. On top of this, the ads are also set to run on the streaming platform ITVX, which is run by ITV, one of the UK's leading broadcast networks. Each of the ads follows a similar theme. The question, weird, is shown alongside thought-provoking, jarring images. For example, a pig with a sausage for a body is depicted, which aims to highlight that sausages are literally pigs stuffed into their own intestines, according to Veganuary. Another shows a slab of steak on a plate with a burning forest on top, which aims to convey the fact that animal farming is the leading cause of deforestation. One image shows a cow print mug with udders coming out of the top, which aims to represent the reality of the dairy industry. Cows make milk to feed their babies just like our mothers do, the wording reads, while another shows a chicken with a nugget-like coating on their body. The wording next to the latter reads, chicken comes from birds bred to grow so fast that often they can barely stand. Weird to think about the suffering behind that crispy coating? The idea behind the campaign is to challenge the societal conditioning around eating animal products. Most people describe themselves as animal lovers. Nearly 90 million Americans, for example, share their homes with a companion animal, and yet they eat meat. This is because most of the time we don't see animals on cramped, industrialized, pollutive factory farms where 99% of them are raised for the food industry, but we see meat or dairy wrapped in plastic in the supermarket or the grocery store. This allows society to avoid connecting one with the other. Veganuary is asking everyone to face the startling reality of how our food choices impact animals and the planet, adds Vernelli, and consider whether trying vegan for January might just be a little less weird. Veganuary's growing success. Right now, a shift is happening around the world. More people than ever are choosing to reduce their meat consumption for their health or the planet, if not cutting it out completely. In 2023, data showed that UK meat consumption, for example, was at its lowest level since records began in the 1970s. Veganuary is one of the initiatives that has helped to raise awareness of the benefits of moving away from animal products. Founded in 2013, the initiative really started to gain momentum in 2017, when 50,000 people signed up to give the challenge of going plant-based for 1 month a try. By 2023, that number had rocketed to nearly 707,000 people all over the world. In 2024, it had surged to nearly 2 million. The major rise was in part due to the new way that Veganuary decided to measure participation. Before, it simply counted signups to its email, but in 2024, it decided to include numbers from formats like its social media content and cookbook sales, too. Veganuary has an impressive success rate. Its follow-up survey in 2023, for example, showed that 80% of participants had cut their intake of animal-based foods by 50% or more. On top of this, 28% of participants said they opted to remain 100% plant-based. But it's not just people who are drawn to Veganuary. Several restaurant chains also choose to celebrate the campaign by launching their own meatless menus for January. For example, in 2024, the popular global chain of rock and roll-themed restaurants Hard Rock Cafe added a new Veganuary menu. As people become more aware of the incredible impact our food choices have on the health of our planet, attitudes towards veganism are changing everywhere, said Vernelli in a statement. Veganuary's friendly, non-judgmental, just give it a go for a month and see what you think approach has undoubtedly played an instrumental role in this shift. You just listened to Making Meat Look Weird, Veganuary's new campaign challenges food norms by Charlotte Pointing at Veganews.com, and I'm Marian Erickson, your host. I think this is a great idea. Challenging food norms in general is such an important thing because it is considered normal, natural, and necessary by so many people still to eat animals and their byproducts, and it's none of the above. We're just conditioned to believe that, indoctrinated really, and check out episode 76 if you're interested in more on that, called Infant Indoctrination. But because most people think it is so natural and normal to eat animals, to exploit them, that they're put here for our purposes, they're only born because we breed them to be born for our use, which is so messed up. But that's another part of the reason I choose not to be with anyone while they're eating animals. I won't sit at a table with others and share a meal while they're eating animals. I've taken the Liberation Pledge. I did it initially for my mental health because I can't handle it. But it also does make a statement that it's not normal, it's not necessary, and it's not okay. I just cannot do it. I won't take part in it. And if you want more information on the Liberation Pledge, I've got a number of episodes about that as well. I'll put them in the show notes, but check out episode 100, What's Wrong with Veganism? And I do want to make one comment about the part of the article that says society isn't able to connect what they see as quote-unquote food in the grocery store wrapped up in plastic with the actual animals, because it says most of the time we don't see these animals on cramped, industrialized, pollutive factory farms where 99% of them are raised. I actually think it has nothing to do with the factory farms part. It's because people don't see the animals being exploited. They don't see the families being separated. They don't see the animals going to slaughter as babies at a fraction of their natural lifespan. They don't see the babies being taken from mothers so humans can steal the mother's milk. They don't see the animals being bred to grow so fast for quicker, faster profits for the farmer. This is all part of the humane hoax. It's the animal farming industry's way of misleading people to believe that buying quote-unquote humane animal products is somehow okay, that those animals lived a beautiful, healthy, full, complete life. That is never the case. They're never allowed to live their entire lives out because that's taking profit away from the farmer. Even if it's the sweet farmer down the road, they're not going to let a cow live to 20 years, die of natural causes, and then have them chopped up and put in plastic in the grocery store. That would cost a fortune to house and feed that cow for 20 years, when at a year and a half, you can do the same thing, make all your profit, and start over again. It's just pure business. That's all it is. There is no way to humanely breed, exploit, and kill an animal. Farming is an amazing, important profession, but farming of animals is unnecessary and cruel, no matter what. Farming of plants is a different story. And thankfully, there are several organizations focused on helping farmers transition from farming and exploiting animals to farming plants. So please share this episode with anyone who might benefit, and thanks for listening.